this video today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to disassemble and do general repairs on an Xbox 360. The system we're going to be working on today is the first gen old school Xbox 360, released all the way back in 2006. Most of these 2006 release systems were actually manufactured in 2005. This particular system that I have in front of me was manufactured in 2006. And these systems have a very special place in my heart because this system was what started the business that you guys know today as Fast Tech. All the way back in 2008 when I was in high school, my Xbox 360 got the notorious red light of death. And at the time I didn't want to send it to Microsoft because my Xbox 360 had the iExtreme firmware flash installed on it. And I figured if I sent it in, they wouldn't fix my console, or worst case, it'd be confiscated. So I decided not to send it in and give it a go myself. I was successful in fixing it the first time. I did do some research online. I ordered some parts, some thermal paste, and I was able to fix the Xbox 360, and the rest is history. That's how I got into the business. I decided I was going to start a business fixing other people's Xbox 360s. I put up an ad on a site known as Kijiji here in Canada, and I got customers literally the first day. That's how this business was started, and eventually I started a YouTube channel. But I've always felt like, even back in those days, I did want to get into YouTube, and I did want to do videos showing people how to do what I do. And but it never happened up until years and years later. My first video was on the first gen PS4, so my first video didn't happen until 2017, almost 9 years later. So this is a little late, but as they say, better late than never. So that was a brief history lesson on the importance of Xbox 360 to me personally and the business that I run today. Let's get started. First thing I'm going to show you guys how to remove is the hard drive, which is located at the top of the Xbox 360. All you got to do is press this little button here and lift up the hard drive, and it's going to come right off. We do sell these hard drives on our website. We sell them in 60 and 120 and 250 gigabyte capacity. Links in the description box. Next, I'm going to show you guys how to replace the faceplate. And to do that, there's this little spot at the bottom of the faceplate. You can stick your finger in here and then simply lift up the faceplate, and it's going to come off like that. Now I'm going to show you guys how to remove these gray panels here. You can grab any small screwdriver or Phillips and poke our screwdriver right about in here, and then lift up from here, poke in here, and this clip is going to be disengaged. That's the clip that we're trying to get to. And then right about here, we're going to push our screwdriver in this hole. Same thing on the other side. Like that. This rubber foot is going to have to be removed. You can use the pry tool from our Fast Tech Pro toolkit. And then this is going to come right off like that. Get that rubber foot out of the way, don't lose it. And then you're going to see a hole in here. Press that. And then another one on this side here, and then this piece is going to come right off. Same thing at the bottom. Here. On the other side. And here. Let's go on the other side. Right about here, here, and then same thing on the other side, here, and then the last one came out on its own, but usually the last one's right about here. And now we got both of these panels removed. We can get those out of the way. And now we're gonna remove the front. You can use a pry tool from our Fastech Pro toolkit. Lift up the clip and then pull it apart at the same time, like that. And then the last one here, lift up. And now the case has been lifted up. There's some clips at the back here that we have to disengage as well. For this, I recommend a Smith & Wesson knife, which we also sell on our website. Click, click. There's clips in here. Some more clips. To push them down, you can hear them being unclipped. Boom, boom. And the bottom panel is gonna come off like that. Boom. Now we're gonna need a Torx T10 and a T8 bit, both of which are included in our Fastech Pro Auto Kit and our Fastech Pro Toolkit. Links for those are going to be in the description box and the top comment. But you are going to need some specialized screwdrivers because these are not Phillips or any screwdriver that you would find in your house. So if you do need the screwdriver, check the link in the description box and the top comment. To get access to the disk drive, the RF board at the front, or the fan, you only need to remove these screws. So first I'm gonna remove those long bolts to show you guys how to do the basic stuff, and then I'll show you how to remove everything to get the motherboard out. Now that we've got these T10 long bolts out of the way, we're gonna look at the front of the Xbox 360. We're gonna slightly lift up this eject button here. All right, and then remove it like that. It's just gonna come off. Be gentle with it. You could break this piece. That's the eject button right there. It's not actually a button itself. It's just a plastic piece that's designed to push the actual eject button, which is in here. Now we can remove the top panel like that. And now we have access to the disk drive, the fan shroud, the fan, the RF board at the front. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is how to replace the disk drive. You're gonna look at the front. There's gonna be some tape here that you're gonna remove, and you're gonna lift up the disk drive. There are two connectors at the back, a SATA for data and a power cable. We're gonna pull the power cable out, and then we're gonna pull the SATA connector out. Disassembling this thing is bringing back some memories. Again, like I mentioned earlier, guys, this system is how I got into the business. So I don't think I've disassembled one of these for at least 8 years, 9 years maybe. The last system I did, that was a 360 myself at least. It was a long time ago. All right, so as we see here, that's the disk drive. And obviously the reason you'd want to replace the disk drive is if your Xbox 360 can't read games. And most people, what they do is they get a disk drive, of course, from fasttechstore.com. Why would you buy it from anywhere else? And they simply take their Xbox, throw out the old disk drive, and then try to put a new disk drive in, but that doesn't work. What you have to do instead is open up this disk drive. There's a logic board inside. We have to take it out and put it into our new disk drive. ordered of course from fasttechstore.com. Links in the description box for all kinds of Xbox 360 disk drives. I'm going to be showing you guys how to remove the logic board and to install it into your new disk drive, ordered of course from fasttechstore.com. We're going to put in a Phillips bit into our driver and we're going to remove the screws. Now that we got the screws out of the way, we're going to lift up the bottom panel. We're going to separate it from the disk drive, lift it out. Now this is a Hitachi model disk drive, so fortunately there's no soldering that has to be done because I understand most people are not comfortable soldering. The older Samsung and Hitachi disk drives only had ribbon cables. The newer BenQ and Lite-On disk drives had wires that had to be desoldered and soldered back on. But on the Hitachi and Samsung models, all you got to do is remove the cables, take this logic board here out, put it into your new disk drive, and put it in your Xbox. Again, guys, remember that this logic board is matched to that Xbox 360. There's a key on here that matches your motherboard on the 360. I know this because I modded a few Xbox 360s back in the day, and there's a key on the board and then there's a key on the disk drive, and they have to match. So that's why it's very important that you retain this logic board. If you know how to flash the firmware, you can also copy this key and flash it onto a new disk drive, which is also possible. You can look into Jungle Flasher for that. That's a very popular program back in the day that people used to install the iExtreme firmware hack on their Xbox 360, but it was also used to repair consoles as well. So we're going to remove the logic board by pulling out these cables. These ones on the sides here, they just pull out. The one in the middle has a clip that you can pull out. Out it comes. A little bit difficult, but I got it out. There's one on the side here that we can just pull out like that, and now there are clips here that we're gonna have to push outwards, and then the logic board is kind of free. There is some adhesive on the laser ribbon cable, and we're just gonna gently lift it out from here. You know what, guys, it would be a lot easier if we removed it from the laser. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove it from the laser here. Be very careful with this step. Pull it out from the laser and your logic board is free. And now you can install this into your new disk drive, ordered of course from you know where, and install this logic board into your new disk drive and put it in, and you're good to go. That's how you replace your disk drive. And now you got to reverse these steps to reassemble your Xbox 360. If the disk drive is all that you were watching this video for, you can stop watching now. Moving on, the next thing I'm going to show you guys how to remove and replace, if you need, is the RF board at the front. If you're having controller issues or wireless issues, in certain situations replacing this would fix your problem. So we're gonna lift up this panel here, right here, like that. We're gonna put a Torx T8 bit in our FastTech Pro Auto Kit. We're gonna put that T8 And again, we do sell this part on our website as well at fasttechstore.com. Links for this are going to be in the description box and top comment as well. This is also where the power button sits, and this is also where the circle of light lives. You can replace these LEDs if you're good with soldering, and change them to any color that you want. There's also custom ones with custom lights that you can buy as well. We might be selling those in the future. So if you're interested in those, please check out our website in the future to see if they're in stock. Next, we're gonna lift up the fan shroud. This is to direct air from the heatsink to the fan. It's just a piece of plastic that we're gonna get out of the way. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to remove the fan. There's a connector here that we're gonna have to press right here, and then pinch the connector, lift it up till the clip is released. Then we can use any kind of a screwdriver to lift up this metal piece here, the part that's the mid frame. I'm gonna lift it up, and as you can see, there's tabs on the fan, and they're gonna get released, and then we can just pull out the fan in the front like that, and we can lift it out. The newer Fat 360s don't have this style connector where you don't need to push a clip like this, but instead it's just a pull-out connector. But that's on 2009 or 2008 systems and above. Now, to remove the motherboard, there's screws on the other side that we're gonna have to remove. And if you want to do a thermal paste replacement, or if you have the red light of death and you're trying to do that repair, we're gonna have to remove these screws. Now we're gonna switch to a T8 and remove these screws that hold the heat sinks on. Now that we got the smaller T8s out, now we're gonna get the T10 bits out. Now we're gonna flip this thing over. There's a little dust ball here, get it out of the way. And now we can lift the motherboard out by lifting it up from the heatsink. It's gonna come right out. We're gonna get the chases out of the way. Now we're gonna need a flathead to remove these X clamps that hold the heat sinks onto the motherboard. Now these X clamps are notorious, and a lot of people replace these X clamps with bolts and washers and replace the thermal paste, and that does seem to fix the problem, at least temporarily, but it's by no means a permanent fix. We did do these repairs back in the day as well, but then we discontinued them eventually when we realized that that was not a permanent fix. The problem actually lied with the solder underneath the chip, or the chips themselves were dying and overheating, and lots of times people would do a reflow on them, replace the paste, do an X clamp replacement, and that would at least temporarily fix the problem. We do still sell the X clamp replacement kit, which includes the washers, bolts, and the thermal paste that you need, but we will let you know that that is not a permanent fix. I did that job on one of my systems, and the most I got out of that system was 2 years, and then it died again, and I had to do another reflow. So again, it's not a permanent fix. If you do have this issue, the best thing to do is to probably just get an Xbox 360S, because those systems did not have the problems that these ones have. But regardless, I'm going to show you guys how to remove these X clamps if you do want to do that work and replace the thermal paste. We're going to be showing you guys how to do that next. So what you do is you get a flathead, and this screwdriver is part of the FastTech Pro toolkit, not the auto kit. I wouldn't recommend using the auto kit for this step because you could accidentally press the button and rip out one of these components on the board, and you do not want to do that. So you get a regular flathead from the FastTech regular toolkit. You stick your screwdriver in here. Some people like to go from up here, but I don't like doing it that way. I like doing it this way. So what I do is I stick my flathead in here, right between this and this. I stick it right here, and then I twist it like that, and then it comes off. So what I did was I went anti-clockwise with my thumb, and I twisted it upwards, and it came up. And I'm going to do the same thing here. You need to do them on 3 corners, and then actually I'll do this one because that one's in the way. You need to do corners, and then the 4th one comes off on its own. You need to do the 4th. Same thing on the CPU heatsink. Boom. Be careful with this step. I'm doing it really fast because I've literally done these thousands of times, and even though I haven't done it for years, my muscle memory is spot on. Feels like I've been doing this my whole life, fixing 360s, even though it's been a while. That's the second X clamp removed, and now we can get the heat sinks off by just pushing them up. The paste is going to be 10-12 years at this point, so it's going to be really stuck on there. Do the same thing on the GPU. That's the most force I've ever had to use on stock thermal paste. And as you can see, the stock thermal paste that Microsoft used is really crappy. It's not good quality paste. So if you do want to replace this thermal paste, what you got to do is get some medical grade alcohol. Isopropyl also works, and you put it on the CPU and the GPU chip, and you also put them on the heat sinks. Let it set for about 2 to 5 minutes, and then you use paper towels. I would use something else, but if you're watching this at home, paper towels work just fine. Rub it off with paper towels. These surfaces should be clean completely. None of the old paste should be on there, and especially on the CPU and GPU chip, these surfaces should be shiny by the time you're done. This 360 is not going back together, so I'm not going to actually bother doing the thermal paste replacement, but I'll show you guys some of the products that we recommend. This right here is Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut. This is the best thermal paste, in my opinion, available in the market, and we do sell this at fasttechstore.com. Link is going to be in the description box. And like I said, this is the Rolls Royce of thermal paste right now. We also sell the motherboards, and we sell them with the disk drive logic board. As I mentioned earlier, the disk drive logic board has to be paired with the motherboard. So when we sell these, we sell them with the disk drive logic board. And the links for that also are going to be in the description box and top comment, or you can directly visit us at fasttechstore.com. And that concludes our Xbox 360 disassembly and repair video. Please smash that like button and subscribe button if this video helped you out. This video took me roughly 14 years to make, because when I disassembled one of these systems the first time, that was 14 years ago, back when I was in grade 10, when I started this business. It was called something else back then, but I am really glad for this whole journey, and I'm grateful to every single one of you for watching my videos, subscribing to the channel. And while you're at it, check out my vlog channel as well, in which I travel the world and I record my adventures. The link for that is also going to be in the description box and top comment. This is Shiroz from Fast Tech. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.